Go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's Kaizen Coaching. My name is Jeremy Jenkins, for those that might be visiting. So, we do this every Tuesday night. Take just a few minutes to give some training, some updates on how to do your online business, how to have the most success possible. And then, for those that like to stay on a little bit longer, we also do an overview of something called the Cirrus Networks, which has to do with decentralization and the future of finance. So we'll go ahead and dive into the training for tonight. And then that. So Kaizen Coaching. My name is Jeremy Jenkins, as I mentioned. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how to get more production out of your MLM team. And this is a common question. Right? A lot of times we'll ask this: how the heck do you get duplication and get more production out of your team? Right? And that's really the secret, because the whole reason that we all like to do MLM or multi-level marketing or relationship marketing, all that is because of the point of leverage, right? It's one thing to be a salesperson, one thing to be able to just go out and advertise a product or a service and get people to to buy that from you, and maybe it's one time or on a subscription basis, which is great and that's fine. And those there are those that really like and enjoy sales and being in that kind of an environment, maybe as an influencer, right? Potentially, they've got a big following on social media, or they've got a big mail list, or whatever it is. And so that's one way to do it for sure. But what we've all known to or gotten to know over the years, in my 25 plus years of experience doing this, is that the power of duplication, the power of leverage that comes from having a team working together, not just an individual, it becomes geometric, right? It becomes something that is super fun, because you're leveraging the power of all of us as a team, and now you can earn on not just your efforts but on the efforts of the entire team. And that is one of the top ways for people to have success and have extra income, to become millionaires, right? Other than real estate, it has been proven to be the number one way, the easiest way for people to actually break through and have that second or third stream of income that we all need to be able to fight back against the enemies of wealth, right? I like to teach about and we got to fight back against inflation and taxes and all the different things that keep us from moving ahead. And one of those ways is through the power of leverage. So how do we get that production? That's the key, because a lot of us are motivated. We're here tonight. The very fact that you're here on this call tonight shows that you're motivated and you want to do it. You probably defined your why and everything. But now, how do we duplicate that? How do we get our teams to also show up, right, and do what we're trying to do? So with this lesson, we're going to take some action steps, or I'm going to share some action steps that you can take yourself, as well as some suggestions to help your team start producing more than you've ever imagined. Okay. And as we all know, or should know, it's the speed of the leader. So the speed of the leader in almost every case will determine the speed of the pack. Right? So if you want more production out of your team, you got to start producing yourself. You just can't stay at the same rank stagnantly and hope that someone is going to surpass you, right, and get to the next rank. You got to go get new teammates and watch some of them get excited, right, as they see, oh, okay, they're that person's enrolling, or my sponsor continues to grow and build and invite people, so I'm going to do it too. Right? The other day, one of so if you guys know the name Mark Hoberson, right? He said that to be a good leader, that you should leave your team in the dust. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? It's it's a cool statement that he made, and it's true. Okay, you need to be able to just like go for it and show the way. That's what the leaders do, right? Leaders show what to do, show that they're out there doing it. And what that does is it's contagious. It's contagious. It creates the excitement. It creates morale. You can believe in it. You can say, okay, yeah, this is happening. This is working. New people are coming in. So, but you got to set the pace, right? You got to set the speed that you want it to grow. If you're not building, if you're not recruiting, if your team doesn't see that you're out there actively doing it, then they're going to be like, okay, I don't need to do it. It's rare that somebody will actually surpass their sponsor, right? And it can happen. It definitely can happen. I have seen it. But for the most part, people are just going to kind of go. It's like when you're on the freeway, right? And you're driving, and most people just try and stay about the same. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody that just waving through traffic and going crazy. But most people try and stay right about the same speed, right? That's the idea. So, and that's what happens. So if you're not seeing a lot of growth, look in the mirror and see how you're doing, and maybe that's why others aren't duplicating what you're doing. All right. So that being said, let's get people started fast. Okay. So when you bring in your brand new rep on your team, you got to get them started fast. So in other words, we talk a lot about onboarding, right? And this idea of, okay, I brought somebody in, they're my responsibility, right? And they came in for a reason. It's because they're excited. They saw something in the opportunity, and so now, they're ready to go, right? And I think some maybe more than others, right? Some are a little bit reluctant or whatever, but they came in. And so now those hungry people that you just brought in, right, they're probably willing to make their list, right? They're probably willing to do whatever you tell them to do in the beginning, okay? And also though, they've probably already talked to their warm market like about 150 different opportunities. So they probably are a little bit nervous about going back to some family members or friends or whoever, right? And being like, hey, remember that other thing we did and it didn't work out? Hey, remember this thing? And right. So yeah, there's going to be some of that. Okay. But at least they're now in something new and exciting. And so they're probably willing, right? They're probably willing to sit down and create their list and go through. We've talked about the 10 steps to success, right? The first one's defining your why, but step number 2 is creating that list of people that you're going to contact right out of the gate, okay? Because that's the first step is contacting your warm market, talking to people that you know and know you and they like you and they trust you, and maybe go to your ride or die people that they'll do anything with you just because they know you and they like you and your friends and whatever. And then you can go to some others that know you and maybe they trust you a little bit, right? And this is in the beginning before you even try and go out and do any kind of cold marketing. Okay? So it's just the same thing as if you had bought a franchise or started your own small business. You'd want to do some kind of a grand opening, right? To invite people and let them know, hey, I'm in business now, and this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm excited about, right? And so we want to treat our network marketing company the same way, right? We don't want to treat it any differently. We don't want to hide it, okay? So what we don't want to do though is inundate these brand new people with way too much training in the beginning, right? And just freak them out. Okay, we don't want to scare them away. We want to make sure that they just understand the basics, right? They understand the difference between long-term strategies and fast profit-producing strategies. Okay, things like that. And so, of course, onboarding. Hey, this is your back office. This is how you log in. This is your replicated site that you're going to share with people. These are the products. This is why they're good, right? Just some basic things that make sure they can log in. Here's the videos that we can share. Here's some PDF documents you can share. Here's when we do the meetings, right? All the basics, right? Make sure that they're onboarded, they know what everything is, and they got it on their calendar, that kind of stuff. And then some first steps, right? Like, okay, what's the best way to just get started and get the word out? And whether that's blogging or article marketing or doing videos and sharing videos or whatever, That's great. Those are long-term passive marketing strategies. And then, of course, the day-to-day, you actually have to talk to people. Right? You actually have to contact people. Most the most successful option would be to do it daily because it really is just a matter of you got to talk to people. And so, do you want to do it all in one day or do you want to do it over a whole year? Right. And so just start talking to people. Just start mapping out that time, whether it's at lunchtime or at the end of the day or whenever you've got a few minutes to just send a message, send a text, send a messenger message, whatever it is that you use, and start setting up some calls, right? And you start calling the warm market people, you prospect online or offline, wherever you're most comfortable. And these are fast and active profit producing strategies. Okay. So, and I've done both. Coming from an offline and online marketer, I've done both. Okay. There's not to bash internet marketing. It's just a reality. Sometimes you do need to call people. Okay. Sometimes you do need to talk to the person that you're standing next to in the elevator, right? Whatever it is. Okay. So doing online marketing is great. And it's definitely a strategy and a tool. And we train on that and everything. But unless you're actively prospecting to people that you already know with your warm list, it's not going to be the fastest way. Okay. The fastest way to generate signups or commissions is to actually make that list and start calling people that you already know. And because not everybody hates you. I know that we joke about that. We say we're in the NFL, we got no friends left, right? And all that stuff. But it's not always true, right? Like there's maybe a few people that would never talk to us again because they're sick of us and they blocked us or whatever. But honestly, most people, if they're your friends, if they're your colleague, if they're your coworker, whatever, they might be a little annoyed, but they'll still hear you out. They'll still take some time. And if what you got is really that good and compelling, it won't matter what happened in the past. Okay. So let's just be realistic about that and not be so nervous that we think that somebody, yeah, there might be a few, right? Like I've heard people that say, oh, my kids will never listen to me again. I've burned, every bridge with them. And that's probably true. But, there's so many people out there that we know that we probably haven't burned that relationship with yet. And it's okay, right? So that's the best way. And then once you've got, one or two or three people, right, they're interested, they want to come and hear what it's all about. Maybe, they're ready to go. Maybe they like the product. It sounds really good. They buy it. Right now, you've got some success right out of the gate. And it doesn't take a lot of setup. You don't have to worry about, okay, I set up a Facebook group and I did all this and I created a video and all, right? It doesn't take any of that. It's just something you can do immediately. Boom. Here's a video to share. Here's some text. Here's when we're doing a thing. And, or hey, I've got a sponsor can do a 3-way call with me. And you just do it, right? You can literally do it the same day or the next day. You don't have to wait on anything to get going. So that's the best way to go fast, right? Just get going. Okay. Then you want to train them, right? Now that they've had some success, now that they've had a little bit of a taste of, okay, this is what it's about. They've heard you do the pitch and heard you, share it or whatever. Now they're ready, right? Now it's like, okay, what's next? Okay. And so now what we don't want to do is let people fall into the library pit, right? What I mean by that is that the library pit, it contains the corpses of so many marketers that thought they were going to study their way to massive passive income in their network marketing company, right? But all that does is take away from your time of prospecting. Okay. Now, getting to know your product, getting to know your company, coming to these trainings and stuff, that's good, of course, right? But studying and constantly working on yourself like that, without doing the actual prospecting and building your team and everything and recruiting, it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. So we really do need to find a way to combine profit producing activities with our study and find a balance. Okay. And teach that. Teach the, yes, let's do some personal development. Yes, let's go to trainings. Yes, let's learn about the product. Yes, let's understand certain things. But at the same time, let's not just dive into that and think that's all I got to do, right? And then magically people will start to just come. No, we actually have to go out and talk to people. Okay? So, what's the very best training? I would suggest that you focus your main efforts on getting your people better at closing and prospecting. Okay. And I personally purchased just about every course out there. I've spent lots of money on all kinds of recruiting courses and training courses and stuff. And, you know, there's one thing that I've learned from all of this, right? And that is to get more results out of your team, you just got to get them better at closing, period. Okay. There are many options out there. So, but if you can just learn that, you learn how to be better at prospecting and closing yourself and then teach that to your team, you're going to be successful. All right. So now here are 4 rules that you can do to follow to get the very most out of your MLM team. Okay? So the first thing is don't see anyone as your lotto ticket. Be the producer yourself. Don't think, oh, I just recruited this super leader, and they're going to go out and do the business for me and build the downline and it's going to be awesome, right? No, don't think that. Don't think, oh, I've recruited 3 superstars. I'm done, right? I don't have to do anything else. No, never. That's going into management mode, and we don't want to go into management mode ever. Okay, so that's rule number 2. Don't manage your team, right? Daily calls to see how you can help them and seeing how they're doing and all the micromanaging. No, you don't want to do that, right? Your team needs to get it that you're on a mission and you would love for them to come with you on this mission, right? Like that's what they want to see. So calling them and saying, hey, I'm going to call 10 people today. How many people are you going to call? Oh, I don't know. And be like, yep, okay. If you need any help with the 3-way call, let me know. Boom. And that's it, right? You don't need to be like, okay, what are your goals? Okay, what are you going to do today? No, just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you guys want to, do what I'm doing, let's do it. Let's go out. Let's in unison, right? And just make a big splash. And I'm here to help you if you have any questions or need to get on through it, call whatever it is. Okay, that's number 2. Then number 3 is do not confuse them. If members of your team get involved with any kind of learning on the internet marketing, all that, well, be sure that you give them a routine or a schedule to follow so that you can prevent them from spending all day in the library, right? Some of their time, actually the majority, should be spent prospecting, right? And then, of course, the 4th rule is do not ask your team to do anything that you're not willing to do yourself. If you want them to do home meetings, then you got to do them also, right? If you want them to, prospect 10 people a day, or reach out to 10 people a day at least, then you should be doing that too. So if you can follow these 4 rules, then yeah, you will be successful. You'll start to get way more production out. All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Just a few little tidbits there on how to get more production out of your team. It really is that. Set the pace yourself. Show them, lead by example, right? Be the servant leader. Don't micromanage, right? Don't go into management mode. Just be out there with enthusiasm. Be a cheerleader, and show the way. Show what, and also there's one other thing that I probably should have put in there, which is the recognition, right? And so when if you do have a group or a WhatsApp group or whatever it is, also when people do those things like recruit and talk to 10 people or whatever it is, then recognize that, right? Do a shout out, let everybody else know who is actually doing these income producing activities. So that's another one. I'm probably going to add that to the slide. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and dive into the overview. Did a little bit here. So for November, we've got a couple more slides in here. For those that are part of Cirrus Networks, we want to thank you for being on here. Hopefully, bring in your prospects and people that want to hear about this, and try and do it as short as possible, about 15 minutes, 15 to 20, depending on how things go. But Cirrus Networks is the chosen opportunity that for Kaizen Coaching, which is myself and a few others, uh, because, in my opinion, it has everything that you could want for an MLM or just a home business to really be future proof. Okay, because if you're like me, you've been doing this a while and you've seen lots of companies come and go, make mistakes, do things that just aren't scalable or aren't there for the long term, and they're just not universal and all that. So what we're talking about here with Cirrus Networks is something that really is for the masses. It's really for everybody, and it's going to affect everybody, whether we like it or not, just the same way that the internet affected everybody, whether we liked it or not. Okay, the internet came and it disrupted the world, and now we can't live without it. Everything runs for the most part on the internet. I mean, everything. Literally, like you can't even have farming anymore without the internet. It's just crazy. Like it's supply chain and grocery shopping and all the things we do nowadays depend 100% on the internet. And if we lose that productivity, or if we lose that connectivity, I should say, everything goes down. Like it's a mass hysteria when the internet goes down for just a little bit, right? When people can't get to their cell phone, when there's the cell phone outage, when we hear about whether it's Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile, whoever it is, and there's an interruption where people can't do calls or they can't get on their internet, they can't do emails or whatever it is for just a few hours, and people freak out. they lose it, right? Because that's how dependent we are now on the internet. And we like to say, go out and touch grass, right? What does that mean? It means just disconnect for a minute, right? Actually go out and be in nature for a minute and just kind of breathe. But it's funny how the world now depends on connection. So the same thing's going to happen with what we call Web 3, Web 3.0, which is another word for blockchain. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this presentation. Got to do our disclaimer real quick. Everything we talk about here, whether it's decentralized blockchain technology and nodes and tokens and everything like that, none of it is about investment. None of it's a financial product. We're not selling tokens or any of that. We're not promising any kind of ROI or return on your investment. No. All we're talking about is a business that has digital products and services and an affiliate and MLM commission program where if you decide to do this as a home-based business, you can sell products and services that are great and earn normal dollar commissions on a weekly basis for doing it. Okay, that's all this is. But there's no investment. There's no promise of any kind of return. There's no, we're not saying you're going to get any percentage of anything. Right? All we're saying is, hey, check out these amazing products and services and be part of the future. So, what is the future? Well, the world is changing big time. Right? It's all going decentralized because people are starting to wake up and recognize that we're tired of being controlled by big tech. What does that mean? We're tired of everything having to go through either Google or Apple or Amazon or whoever, right? Like, no, we want to have a little bit of ownership. We want to be able to participate in the technology ourselves. We don't want to be silenced. We don't want to worry about our privacy and what they're doing with our own data and all that kind of stuff, right? So what is decentralized? What are some examples of this? Well, we've seen how over the last 20 years or so, things have gone from where big corporations own all the stuff to where now individuals can participate without having to be signed up with a big entity, right? For example, Uber. Before, if you wanted to drive people around, you had to work for a taxi company. Now, anybody with a cell phone in a car can go and give people rides and make money, right? Turo, if you have an extra car laying around, You can just go rent out that car. You don't have to be part of Hertz or Enterprise or whatever car rental place. You can just rent out your extra car that's sitting in your driveway and make money, right? Lyft is just like Uber. Fiverr allows you to do all kinds of things. You can find people that are doing arts and crafts or digital design or music. DoorDash, right? You can deliver groceries or food to people. And Airbnb, if you have an extra property or a spare bedroom or whatever, you can just rent that out to people without having to actually be part of a hotel chain, right? So really interesting how decentralization, how technology allows for us to do that. But at the same time, we're still not owners of those companies, right? We don't own it. We still have to rely on them. We depend on them for that service. Okay. So it's a step in the right direction of decentralization, but through blockchain, we now actually have ownership. You own a piece of it. Okay. So we've become what we call a digital landlord. And now we benefit from the participation of the whole community. Okay. We're going to explain how that works. It's really fascinating how having ownership in something, right, allows you to now be able to say, hey, you know what? I can benefit from this because I'm not just being a participant, like, oh, I'm driving my car for Uber, right? Like it's now you are an owner. And so you get to be rewarded for just for having decided to be a digital landlord. It really is cool. And it replaces big tech centralized grip on all the facets of our lives. So digital landlord, it's actually trademarked. You can see the little TM trademark thing there. They're so excited about this concept of owning a piece of the internet, right? You could say that they trademarked it. So that's pretty cool. So what does it actually mean? Well, blockchain is powered by something called a node. Okay. So through blockchain, we can offer there's two sides to it. There's the infrastructure side, which is the nodes that power it all and the backbone of it all. And then there's the product offering side, which is all the transactional stuff that happens. And so with Cirrus, we offer AI integrated products, okay, that are built on a decentralized blockchain for full data sovereignty and transparency. And then because you're a digital landlord, you can actually get rewarded for your participation and ownership. It's really, really amazing. So how's that work? Well, here's the idea. This whole concept of decentralization is based on something called tokenization. Okay, so what is tokenization? Well, the CEO of BlackRock, he says that tokenization is going to take over the world. It's like literally everything is going to go what they call on chain, right? Kevin O'Leary, okay, he was on Shark Tank. He actually says that so what we know is as digital payment systems, it's all finally moving towards this blockchain environment. We're entering an era where everything is going onto a blockchain, right? From payments to AI to compliance, daily life. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Vlad Tenev, who's the CEO of a company called Robinhood, and he described tokenization as an unstoppable freight train that will eventually eat the entire financial system. So he was speaking at the Token 2049 conference in Singapore in October, and he predicted that traditional finance and crypto are going to fully merge. In other words, tokenization is like a freight train. It can't be stopped. Okay. It's going to take over everything. The world is tokenizing, and the United States should not get left behind. And he believes that crypto technology offers so many advantages over traditional methods that in the future, there's not going to be any kind of distinction between crypto and traditional finance from a user's perspective. That's where we're going. This is the future. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Everything, from government to everything else, banking, all of it is going on chain. It's the future. It literally is just like when the internet was born in the 90s and people were just barely finding out about .coms and whatever. and trying to go online, well, this is where it's at. So because of that, we now get to participate by owning our personal generator in a what we call layer one blockchain network. So layer one, there's only 39 of them in the entire world, and all of them have been super successful. But a node node is just like owning a generator for this decentralized power. Okay, so the nodes in the blockchain, they call them nodi, and that is a combination of gnosis, which is the Greek for knowledge, and nodes, which are the backbone of a blockchain system. Okay, so as you host your node node, you're now fueling the blockchain ecosystem, and it allows for this process to set up and contribute to a global network. It allows for people all across the world to participate. We have node owners in Australia, in New Zealand, over in Asia, in South America, Canada, Europe, all over. That's the power of the internet, and that's the power of blockchain. It allows people all over the world to have some ownership in something very, very cool. All right, so how do you do that? Why would you want to do this? Well, there's super amazing rewards and benefits. Okay, because you're hosting a node node, you're playing an important role. Right, you're supporting and securing the blockchain network. Okay, you bought a software license that allows you to now say, "Hey, I'm contributing," and you get incentives for that. So node holders are going to get digital node tokens for their contribution to the ecosystem, fostering a more decentralized and resilient network. And you're going to get a voice. Okay, you actually get a vote on the governance. So you're not only participating and taking advantage of some of the amazing product and stuff, and that as an owner you're getting rewards, but you also get a vote, which is really cool. You are, as an owner, you have a say. Okay, you actually have a say in the future of the blockchain and how it's going. Okay, so the other example I really like to share is this idea of when people hear about crypto, a lot of times, or tokens, they immediately think of Bitcoin, right? And they think, oh yeah, okay, I know what Bitcoin is. I've heard about Bitcoin and how it, started at pennies and now it's worth over $100,000 and all that stuff. And so a lot of the history of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, everything has always been about the coins themselves, right? The tokens themselves, and okay, I want to buy so many tokens and treat it like an investment and hope that they go up in value and all that kind of thing. But the example I like to give is, well, wouldn't you rather own the goose that's laying the golden eggs than own the eggs themselves, right? The eggs are great, golden eggs, cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a few golden eggs, but wouldn't it be cooler to have a goose that's laying golden eggs every day for you? Of course, right? And that's what owning a node node is equivalent to. Having a node node pays out the digital rewards on a daily basis every night at midnight. So by being an owner or a digital landlord, you now own that golden goose, and it's going to pay out those rewards every single day. All right. So now, how do you get a node, right? How are they structured? How much do they cost? Well, a full node node, a full software license costs right about $1,200 one time. Okay, so you buy it and you buy that software license, and it's now yours for forever, for life. Okay, now there's a small little hosting fee that you got to pay every month, and it's right about $1.75, but really, really reasonable, right? Under $2 a month. Like it's almost nothing. Okay, but what you get on a daily basis for owning a full node node currently, as of today, the 11th of November of 2025, is approximately 350 node tokens. Okay, pretty cool. But what if you can't afford that, right? What if you're thinking, ooh, I'd love to have a full node node, but that's a bit out of my budget, right? That's understandable. Okay, well, they also offer half node nodes, so you can get a half for $597. Okay, so half the price. And what does it do? It pays out exactly half the amount of the tokens. Right? If you say, you know what, I can't afford that either, that's okay. You can get a quarter node. Okay, so quarter node, 297, right? And it pays out exactly 1/4, 25% of the digital rewards on a daily basis. And then maybe you're thinking, you know what, I can't even afford that, right? I'm barely making ends meet, but maybe I could do a mini node, right? So okay, so $100. Okay, so you pay $100, you get yourself a little mini node, and that's paying out 10%. So instead of 350 tokens, you get 35 tokens every day. And with the mini node, their hosting is actually a bit cheaper. It's only 75 cents a month. So really inexpensive. $100. Okay, if you want to put that on subscription, which is what we recommend, then it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like financing it, right? So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm going to come up with $1,200 for a full node," you could actually just say, "I'm going to pay $100 every month and get." You just stack them up, right? And you get a second mini node and a third mini node, and then by the time you have 10 mini nodes, you actually have the equivalent of a full node, which is really cool. So those are some options, all right? And that's how you now have ownership. That's now how you participate. That's how you're helping create the network of the blockchain. Really, really cool. All right. Well, think of it also like this: a node owner is, or owning a node is also like owning an apartment building. Okay. So as digital landlords, just think of a full node like a 10-unit apartment building. So when you buy that full node, it's like owning that whole building, and you get the rent money from all 10 units, right? All 10 apartments in that building, 100% of the total. But if you got a half node, that would be like, only owning five of the 10 units. And so you only get 50%, right? And then having a mini node is like owning just one of the 10 apartments. That's yours. You rent it out, getting just, the rent from the one. That's like having a mini node. Okay. So good way to think of it. All right. Now, here's what really makes Cirrus so much better and different from the competition. There's actually a lot of different blockchain projects out there, and a lot of them are selling nodes similarly priced, right around $1,000, to participate in different ones. But what's really cool about the Nodi blockchain and through Cirrus is that they've actually divided it up. I don't know of other blockchain projects that actually offer half and even quarter or even mini nodes. I don't think they do. Every other one that I've ever seen has always just been a full node at right around $1,000. Okay? So the very fact that we offer half and quarter and even mini nodes in the first place is amazing. Okay, but what's even more amazing and different is the fact that you can also create value in the network and earn rewards through what we call X1 micro nodes. Micro, not even mini. These are micro. Okay, these are micro nodes, which are services that everyone knows and loves through monthly subscriptions, as well as through simple participation and activity. So, in other words, everyone I know uses some sort of cloud storage, right? Whether you're using iCloud or Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever. And sometimes we use the free one, sometimes we use the one that's only $2 a month or whatever. Some people do the full $10 a month one. But what if you could just do that same kind of thing, but now that same monthly subscription that you were paying before, you're actually getting daily rewards on it, right? What about streaming? What about watching your movies? Who doesn't have some kind of streaming, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever, right? And, lots and lots and lots of people love their streaming and they're paying for it. So what if you could have a streaming micro node? What about travel, right? A lot of people pay for a travel portal where they're paying whatever it is, $25 a month, $50 a month, even $100 a month. I've seen where people get discounts on travel, they'll get discounts on hotels and car rentals and other things, or they'll get rewards so that they can save up to go on a trip, things like that, right? Well, what if that same kind of a travel portal, travel club, also became an X1 node, right? Where you're now getting daily rewards just because you have that subscription. What about meetings, right? We all got to know Zoom over the last several years. And it's a great product, great service, allowed people to connect, whether in the classroom or other kinds of meetings, and that's great. But what if for those that actually wanted to have a lot of people on their Zoom, or a lot of you wanted to stream it or do webinars and that kind of stuff? Well, there was a cost to it, right? Zoom isn't free for all the bells and whistles that they offer. If you want more than just the basics, then they offer about a $20 a month plan, or a $50 a month plan, or much, much more, depending on your needs. Well, what if you could do the same thing, get way more value, way more people in your Zoom meeting than what Zoom offers for the same $20 a month, and it paid out daily rewards? Okay. And then, of course, cell phone service, right? Mobile service. And then, of course, shopping. What if you could have a card, okay, a debit card, MasterCard, that when you went shopping with that, whether you went to Walmart or you fill up your gas tank or wherever you spent money using that card, it also paid you out some tokens every time, right? Because the cool thing about this is it's not just paying you for the monthly subscription. A lot of these are paying you for the activity. For example, hosting this meeting tonight on this meeting room, I'm getting paid 20 reward tokens just for hosting a meeting with all you guys. It's really cool for the activity of doing it. I'm getting paid. So it's really fun. And the card is going to be such a huge game changer. So some of these services aren't quite ready yet, but they're coming soon. But that's the concept, right? And there's over 50 different services on on the whiteboard that they're planning to bring to Cirrus Networks, to be able to also pay out daily rewards for people, for things that people do anyway. All right, so think of it this way with the micronodes, right? Going back to the analogy of the digital landlord. What if you actually owned the building, right, the node, but then it was a mixed use situation, right? A mixed use apartment. So now you're actually not just owning, like your node in the apartments, but you actually have some services on the bottom floor, right? Like this apartment here, where you could have maybe a restaurant or an insurance business, or a boutique or whatever. And so now you're not only getting rewarded for owning the apartment, but you're also getting a share of the commerce that's happening in the storefronts on the bottom. And that's what the micronodes are all about. Okay. So now we all get rewarded. The value in the token comes from people actually buying and using the different services, right? So it just all makes sense. All right. So it's all utility driven. Why it makes sense is because the whole point of this is that we're now able to have utility on our blockchain. Okay, these subscriptions become the backbone of the economic structure of this entire community. So there's actually real commerce, real transactions happening, real value that people are willing to continue to pay for every month, because they're getting something that they actually use and they're getting daily rewards. So there's a loyalty component. All right. So we have a triple advantage. That's what we call that, right? Better products. So our products actually offer better features, more seats, more whatever it is, right? More widgets, okay? Better pricing, and then of course better rewards. That's the triple advantage. It's a no-brainer for me to say I'm going to switch from paying $20 a month to Zoom to paying $20 a month to Meetin, because at Meetin I'm getting way better opportunity, more seats. I can have more people in my room. I got more widgets and more things like automatic translation and all kinds of cool things. And I'm getting daily rewards for it. And every time I host a meeting, I'm getting rewarded. So it's just an absolute no-brainer. And that's what all the services do. All right. Above and beyond that, right? If we want to do this as a home-based business and actually earn dollars for sharing this with friends and family and people we know that would appreciate some of the products and services that we have to offer, well, we can do that. in one of two ways. You can do it either as an affiliate or as an associate. Okay? So an affiliate, think of an affiliate program is you just kind of you're a brand partner with all kinds of different companies. So Amazon has affiliate programs, Walmart has affiliate programs. Pretty much every business on the planet nowadays has an affiliate program where you just sign up to represent them. You drive traffic, right? You recommend products and services to these different companies, and then you get a cut, right? When somebody buys something, you'll get a percentage. Okay. And that's how affiliate programs work. Well, it's the same thing here. As a serious affiliate, if you just decide to sign up for free, because it is free to sign up, and just you want to represent Cirrus and get the word out about blockchain and why it's so exciting and it's the future and everything, and you think that these products and services I just mentioned are pretty cool, right? This idea of earning rewards just for going shopping, earning rewards for going on a vacation, earning rewards for hosting a meeting or whatever it is, for watching your latest movie or TV show. I think that's pretty cool. So why wouldn't you want to share that with people, right? It's better pricing, more value. And when somebody signs up with your link, if you sign up for free and you share it with them, then you get 20%. So every time they pay their subscription every month, you get 20% of that, right? So in the case of the Meetin product, it's $20 a month. So 20% of that is $4. So you would get $4 every single month, every single month, every single month, every single month, as long as they keep paying for it, which most people do. Okay. And then what's really cool, oh, yeah, you also get the 20% on if people buy nodes, right? So if somebody buys a full node or a half node or a mini node or whatever, you also get 20% on that. And it pays out every single week. So every Friday, we get paid on the sales from the previous week, whether that's nodes or mini nodes or micro nodes or whatever. Okay. You get 20% every time somebody buys something. Really cool. But then, as we all know, the power of leverage, the power of, you have some friends who tell some other friends who tell some other friends and things going viral. That's pretty cool. So who wouldn't want to also make some extra money when, you had a friend who told a friend who told a friend about a node and they bought that node? Well, what if you could make some extra money on that? You can through what we call the associate compensation model, which is a multi-level type of structure. And it allows us to now leverage that word of mouth, right? Word of mouth marketing, people sharing it, going out and building teams, and bringing new people to the table. And so it might start out as 3 that you talk to, and then those 3 will go and talk to other 3, and it turns into 9, and then those 9 go and tell the other 3 people, and it turns into 27, and so on. Next thing you know, a month or 2 or 3 later, you've got a few hundred people on your team, maybe 1,000 people, and now you get to make money on all of them, not just on the first ones that you talk to, right? Pretty amazing concept. And that is the power of the associate compensation plan. So what does it all mean? It all comes down to timing, because really this is something that's happening with us or without us. Right? The whole world is becoming decentralized. It's happening, right? Everything is going to use blockchain technology in some way, shape, or form in the future. So we might as well get some ownership in that. We are pioneering digital landlordship. That's what we call it. 93% of the world has yet to adopt any kind of blockchain technology. So our timing could not be better. You're in at the very beginning. If you're hearing about this right now, you are so lucky, because you're literally part of that 7% that knows about this. Okay. And it's like knowing about what the internet was going to do when it first came out. So yes, we are so blessed. We are so lucky to be in this at the beginning. The future is starting now. We just need to secure our place in the Node blockchain revolution, whether that means you want to just participate in the blockchain by owning a full node, a half node, a quarter node, a micro node, whatever you want to do, or if you would actually want to be part of the affiliate program, associate program, either way, or both, right? You now get to embrace this sovereignty, this transparency, this power of the participation. You get to contribute to the decentralized future for everyone. You get to say no to the big tech companies that are selling your data and yes to your future. You can be a digital landlord with daily reward payout for as little as $10. So please get back to whoever invited you to watch this presentation. Ask them how to get started, where you can sign up, whether you want to be an affiliate for free and share this with others, or you just want to get a $10 micronode and start earning those daily rewards. It's up to you, but don't miss out because this thing's moving fast and you don't want to be like however many people missed out on. We used to say, oh, I missed out on buying Microsoft stock when it was, dollars, right? I missed out on buying Google stock when it was just pennies. I missed out on Bitcoin when it was still trading for less than $1, and now it's $100. Like, that's the reality of how these big companies go, and that's what we have here. Being a digital landlord, daily reward payout, as little as $10 a month to get started. It really is something, and with that $10, you're getting an actual product or service that makes sense for you, right? It's not just buying it just because. It's actually a product that has some utility to it. So it's like, why not? All right, with that, I'll let you get back to your evenings. Thanks so much for jumping on. Appreciate your time tonight, and we will see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody. Talk soon.